So how many hives have you got yourself? I used to run 330 until the Varroa mite hit, and then the DPI killed a few in Bulladila and Summersby. So I am down to 220 at the moment. And yeah, running a honey business since 9 years ago. And came accidentally, this passed my way, the Varroa controller. Actually, I got only 3 weeks ago Varroa in my hives. So before, they have been just killed in Bulladila and Summersby because they have been in a red zone. There was no mites 2 years ago. So yeah, we did run a little honey business with a small commercial beekeeper. And we never use chemicals in our hives. We don't have clean honey, no chemicals, healthy bees. And then when Varroa hit and we went to the DPI meetings, how they treat the Varroa, chemicals, and tainting honey. I said, well, that's not for us. You know, we actually have been thinking giving up beekeeping because I didn't want to put any chemicals in my hives and taint the honey and everything. Actually, a year ago, a German friend did visit us. He's a small beekeeper as well. He has 10 hives or something. We have been talking for 3 weeks about bees, of course, beekeepers, you know. And on the second last day, he asked me, oh, do you know something about the Varroa controller? I said, no, never heard anything about it, you know. And he said, I have one for 2 years, works very well. And we started researching it. I said, that's a good idea, you know, chemically free treatment. No tainted honey, business as usual. You take frames out in the supers as well. You don't have to throw honey away out of the brood boxes and stuff. And yeah, watched YouTube, Googled the Varroa controller, as much information I got. And then we contacted the guy who invented the Varroa controller. He's in Austria. He's a professor in a university and an engineer. And he's a beekeeper for 40 years in Europe. So, and he got so sick of the chemicals, the bees getting weaker, the immune system is getting damaged, the mites getting more resistant, you have to put harsher chemicals in and more, and it's just down, you know, goes down with the chemicals. So he connected with some scientists, they did some research about heat treatment, and then he invented this machine 14 years ago, and the first ones are still running from 40 years ago. So there's solid build, not made in China. You don't have to do anything yourself. The machine is doing everything. This is insulated metal, this insulation in there. Yeah. This one is the 20 frame version. It weighs 40 kilos. There's a 10 frame version, weighs 30 kilos, and it uses 600 watts. So it's very easy with a little generator if your bee is far away from any power. And this machine, when you switch it on, keeps the temperature for the moment like in a hive, so around 35 degrees. I have to put demineralized water in here, so it keeps actually exactly the humidity then in a hive. When we put all the 20 frames in, or as many we have, we press the start button and the machine is heating up to around 41.5 degrees for 2 hours. And it's damaged the mites so much, they're dying in the next 1 to 2 days in the capped brood cells. 80% of the mites are in the capped brood cells anyway, only 20% are on the bees. So we get most of the mites in the capped brood cells and we put them in here. Without bees, we're brushing them off. So the bees don't try to keep the temperature at 35 degrees. And for this short time of period of 2 hours, the bee larvae or pupas not getting damaged at all. Even for queen breeders, they breed not only queens, they breed lots of drones as well. And you know, mites like the drone brood because it takes 3 days longer and you have much more time to reproduce. So even the fertility of the drones are not compromised, nothing. Yeah. And will be business as usual. You get clean honey, you can take brood frames out of the brood in the supers, let them hatch. Honey out of the brood you can use for consumption, no chemicals at all.
How long does it take to reach the 41.5 degrees?
Really quickly. When I switch it on, it takes a few minutes until it reaches 35 degrees. Depends on the outside temperature. If it's warmer, it gets a bit faster. Today is a bit cooler. It takes maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Okay.
And then when I press the button, it's really quick, goes to 41.5 for 2 hours. You can go home, have breakfast or lunch or do whatever you have to do in your house. Come back after 2 hours and put the frame straight back into the hives. No problem zone.
Doesn't matter how many you've got in there, if you only had a couple. Like
If you have only a couple, put them in the center. Otherwise, yeah, fill it up. Yeah. So we can start the whole process. I quickly switch on the generator and then come back.
I'm impressed if this gets up to controlled temperature in 5 or 6, 7 minutes.
So we have to put demineralized water in, not normal water. Otherwise, you will damage the humidifier.
Do you know what the humidity is? Percentage humidity? You don't know.
I think it's more an air fryer type circulating hot air rather than just heat. It has fans blowing the heater,
Yeah, well,
like an air fryer.
yeah. Anyhow,
You could.
because I had sort of tropical fish. I had to sort of keep tropical fish.
I had marine fish, that's the same deal. Yeah.
So you fill up the water up to here roughly. And it takes easily, you can do 2 runs. You can take easily 2 runs without refilling water. The machine will not work without water as a sensor, so you cannot do anything wrong. So I close it up now. Press the start button. Boom. And now heats up to 35 degrees. So in the meantime,
Do that before you put the frames in then.
yes. And what I forgot, usually I put some paper towels in. It's easier to clean later.
So if you had to sterilise this,
Yeah.
what could you use? For example, if you just wanted to ensure that you're not transmitting viruses between hives.
Yeah, 1 second. I explain it soon. I talked to Bruce White. When he saw this machine, you know everybody knows Bruce White, yeah. And he said there's almost 0 chance of transmitting any AFB or other diseases. Because it's all stainless steel here on the inside. And AFB spores not attached to the stainless steel. So, and the frames hanging just on this parts, these 2, and they're easy to clean. Or wipe them with some alcohol and you're fine if you give it to another beekeeper or whatever. You know? So you can see the humidifiers already working, yeah? Creating some.
So as you said, so it's hanging on that cord in the middle.
Sorry? Yeah, the sensor, yeah. All right, I close it up, yeah?
Thank you.
There's a chance to warm up. So we will open up the first hives.
These hives are full of bees.
That's good. That's what we want. Okay, thank you. Oh, brood to the outside, really good.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That's excellent. There's already queen cell.
Yeah,
I broke accidentally.
up the top too.
Yep.
I've done the swarm control and hive manipulation on it about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Ah, do you have a bee brush? Yeah. Can you bring me the bee brush, please? Oh, there's another capped swarm cell already.
Break it. And we've already done the took bees out of it.
Oh, they got to go.
So that's what we want. Mostly capped brood. There are a few larvae in here. You can find maybe a few larvae on the bottom. All the larvae try to escape the heat and crawling out, but it's not a major problem. Here's another one. Oops. Thank you.
It's a little bit. Still rocks a bit.
You know, queen cells everywhere. They've swarmed already.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Look like a fair few bees in there, I reckon.
So this is the frame where the young bees hatched already. This will be the next ones, and we will have a few bees are hatching in the controller in the next 2 hours.
Getting stung?
Me? No.
Queen cells on that one. There's only the one cell on there, wasn't there?
It looks like there's nothing there. So we can close up this hive, get to the next one. So something interesting now in the last frame. We have the sensor here, and we have to put the sensor in the middle of the frame, 45-degree angle into the brood. Make sure it's not sticking out on the other side. The tip have to be in the brood. And we do this in the last frame. Close it up and press the start button. Whoop, and that's it. Everything else the machine is doing. After a few years, the inventor of the machine came across this double frame brood box. So in Europe, at least in springtime, they put 2 frames in here, but mostly one sticky, one with foundation, and put the queen in. So, and after 12 days, these 2 frames will be fully kept. And there will be no other kept frames or brood in the hive. They're all in here, means 80% of the mites are in these 2 frames. So you put them in the controller after 12 to 14 days, and you can actually treat 10 hives with 1 controller at a time.
And so, yeah, that you can only put 10 brood with this.
No, in this one, a sticky and a foundation, for example, or 2 stickies, and the queen will lay eggs straight away. And in 14 days, 12 to 14 days, these 2 frames will be fully kept. And all the mites in the hives, except the one on the bees, will be in here, because there's no other kept brood in the hive. After 2 weeks, you put them in the controller and put 2 new frames in with the queen again. And then the bees have been sitting on the mites have been sitting on the bees, will be in here. So theoretically, after 4 weeks, you will be mite-free, except what's coming in, the reinfestation. Yeah, and this will be in the next 2 to 3 years. We will have a huge reinfestation rate. So most of beekeepers would have the chemicals in the hives almost all the year, you know, to fight the reinfestation mites.
So you could treat a whole heap of, like, a lot more hives in one go.
Yes, and even on a nice summer day, you can do 2, 3, maybe even 4 treatments in one day, you know.
Okay.
You finish this one, put him back in a hive, the next, you know, for bigger beekeepers with more hives. Yeah?
At least then you've got them all trapped in one go, really.
And another thing is, with the double frame box, it's like a good swarm prevention. Because the population is not exploding, there's only 2 frames with brood. And you get actually more honey, because the bees have to feed only 2 frames with larvae, so not 6 or 8. You get actually more honey out, you know.
So what time of year do you put that?
It depends on the nectar flow, the season, you know.
I was going to ask about Australia's conditions with our bees. Our bees go out all year.
Yes, this is what we have to learn. We have no data, or we all have to learn what's the best way to treat Varroa with the controller in Australian conditions. It's working, it kills the Varroa, but in Europe they treat in spring and summer and autumn, that's it, you know, because they don't have this huge reinfestation anymore. And we have to adapt. In Queensland will be very different than in Victoria, on the coast will be different to inland, so we have to learn what's the best way to use it and how often. Yeah. Do your alcohol wash. If you're over the level, then you have to treat. If not, yeah. And the reason is they called it Varroa Controller, not Varroa Killer, is because we control the numbers of Varroa mite to manageable numbers. Yeah. We never get rid of it, but we keep the numbers down as good as possible, and in this case without chemicals.
And you're saying use it again and again. How many times in succession would you use that?
Depends. When you see, oh, my hive's the numbers getting lower, I wouldn't use it anymore, so the queen has more space. But perfect in springtime. There's lots of bees, lots of queen cells, they're probably swarmed already. You can avoid this with the... And another thing is, with this method, you know exactly when the frames, the cells are kept. And the mother mite is biting the pupa 60 hours after the cell is kept. If you treat in the first 60 hours, the bee pupa is not even damaged. And when we get viruses in Australia, they don't transmit viruses. So you get really healthy bees out of the cells.
12 days.
but the only problem here is if you're a good queen killer like me, you are touching the queen every 12 days while the population builds, right?
I have the screen catcher, really easy on the frame. You wait, you close a little bit, wait until she crawls up, close it, and you have the queen.
Yeah, that's no problem. I don't normally wait.
You pop it in, the 2 frames, she runs in, close it up, done.
But then you got to find her when you move those frames up.
Yeah, the same thing.
The whole thing? Do you just take the queen out and treat that whole lot? No, you take.
I take the frames out.
Take the frames
yes,
out.
yeah. And they are made in Europe. They're laser cut, no sharp edges, so the bee's wings not getting damaged. It's really light compared to the other one, and easy to handle.
Is that aluminium?
Yeah.
So the maintenance is the control on it.
Yeah, this is insulated metal, and inside is stainless steel.
And the cleaning?
For cleaning, you saw I put some paper towels in there. There are a few larvae dropping down, or a few bees hatching. Sometimes a bit honey will drop down. Take the paper towels out. It takes me less than 5 minutes to clean the whole machine. The most important things are the rails where the frames are hanging on. That's the only one touching the frames. All the other stuff is not touching anything.
Just hanging.
Yeah.
So does that run, if I recall right, at 41.5?
Roughly around 41.5.
Okay.
And that's just enough to damage the mites so much they will die in 1 to 2 days.
And that 2-hour period?
In this 2-hour period, yes.
That's been proved with experiments and so on?
Yes, yes. In Germany, in the Bee Institute, in Belgium, yeah, in Europe. For Australia, sorry, I don't have data yet. You could put sticky mats underneath, and you can see the mites not straight away. You see the mites only when the bees are hatching. So in the next 10 days, they're hatching, and then they clean out the cells and all the dead mites dropping down on the sticky mat.
Does the heat affect small hive beetles as well?
We are not sure. In Europe, they don't have small hive beetles, so there are no studies. But I did test runs with Sam Jiggins from the DPI on his private bees, and he was concerned. He said, oh, the heat, the warmth, maybe the hive beetle population explodes. But he figured out there are actually less hive beetles. So our next thing, he knows some doctor, he is studying hive beetles since they arrived in Australia. And we will try to put hive beetles in a petri dish, let them breed, put this thingy in the controller, and we will see if the eggs are so much damaged they're maybe not hatching. But this is in the future. We haven't done it yet. If this works against hive beetles as well, oof. Yeah.
Then everybody will want one.
Well, I said in the beginning, I have been thinking stopping beekeeping at all, because I did not want to put any chemicals in my hives. I never did it, not even beetle traps, nothing. Yeah.
So you've got 2 different models, is that right?
I have only this model at the moment here, but there's another 10-frame model coming in the second shipment, not in the first one.
What sort of price is that?
It's only roughly $1,000 cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Because all the technical stuff is all the same, just a little bit less material.
Okay.
When do you expect that to get here?
The first shipment in 1 to 2 weeks. The second shipment, we ordered it a couple of days ago, so he's packing the container right now. Will be on the way maybe in a week or 2. And it takes roughly 8 weeks to arrive here. I have an app, and I know the ship, and I look every day how it comes closer to Australia. I can't wait to arrive here.
You see what ports they've pulled in
Yeah.
for a drink.
A lot of orders already?
Yeah. I'm keeping myself from the first shipment, the 16. I'm keeping myself 4 of them. We sold 6, so there's only a few left to sell.
So can we order today?
You can order today. I have some actually business cards and other cards in my car. I can give it to you. On the website it's still 6,930.
It's a lifetime investment.
Yes.
Yeah, well that's true.
And even with the bars where the frames are hanging on, I was thinking to buy at Bunnings a plastic pipe, close it on one end, cut it to the right side, fill it up with alcohol, put the bars in, and especially for clubs when you give it to different members, and it's clean, no chance to spread some diseases. Any more questions? we still have 1 hour 45 minutes to talk about it.
The question is, how quickly does this cool? Because obviously you can't leave it for 2 hours and come back 3 hours later because your brew will then cool.
Yes, yeah,
What is the time frame?
it's 2 hours. I usually put 1 hour 50 in my phone, go do something else, and I get my alarm, go back to the controller.
So you need to be removing them.
Yeah.
Get off the tractor and do something.
Yeah, but it's the best for the hives. Put them as quick back as possible. The bees will cool down to the normal temperature. And the inventor of this actually said the bees living longer when they went through the controller when they are in a pupa. But I have no studies, nothing written down. But he said that the bees actually living longer. Yeah.
You have the probe in the center.
Yeah.
Where is the heat source?
The heat source is everywhere. There are fans. You have seen the slots on the sides. So the fans are making sure the same temperature in every single corner of the controller.
So you've got the temperature probe is in the center.
Yeah.
One.
In the middle of the brood. Yeah.
Middle of the groove and not all the way through.
And for commercial beekeepers, I've been thinking to put 8 of them on a big trailer, all nicely covered, and a generator fixed on, with enough storage for demineralized water, for petrol, whatever, and then go out. Yeah? And if you finish with the 8 one, takes roughly 10-15 minutes to finish fill one up. The first one is already finished, so you can take the frames out and start again the whole process. And they can treat a whole apiary with 100-120 hives in 1 day. Yeah? Don't have to take the supers off, drive them hundreds of kilometers in their shed, store them in some cool rooms so not wax moths or hive beetles go in, and then 6 weeks later they bring them back. And in the meantime they cannot make any honey, you know. When the bees start swarming, they're all in one box, you know.
And so how long has this machine been around?
14 years.
Okay.
14 years. And there have been other companies trying heat treatments, but they all try to heat up the whole hive. So you put some heat underneath, some of them put actually heating plates in the foundation, you know. But they have been all on the market for 3-4 years and then they're gone because it's not working. When you heat up the whole hive, the bees trying really hard to keep the temperature at 35 degrees. So they're getting stressed, you don't get the right temperature and it's not really happening.
Plus it would just encourage hive collapse because they're already coping with a whole lot of stuff. Just adding one more.
So when we brush all the bees off, put them in, perfect temperature, perfect environment with humidity, and it works. Maybe we can see actually mites on the paper when we open up. In these 2 hours, some young bees are hatching and bringing the mites out with them, and then they're dropping on the. But usually you see it only when the bees are hatching. But it's not so much how many hives you have. If you have 100,000 or 10,000, it's just how much you have on one side. That's what you know. If you have only small sites with 40, maybe 3 are enough. If you have 120, you need 8. Treatments, but they heat up the whole hive. And that's not really working.
No, theirs was a box type one. But
now you can hear the tone. Now it's finished. You switch it off and start taking frames out.
Bees hatched.
Yeah, bees hatched.
oh wow.
Put it back.
They're all going back into the one, are they?
Yeah, the first 5. I think we took 5 out. So lots of bees have been hatched, and I think I can see.
The hatched bees.
Yes.
That's what you were saying. They're hatched.
Yeah, hatched.
Not too many bees in it.
You can see them, they're half
Jane, you want to look at that queen? Look at the queen cell.
You can see very young bees, very fluffy, just hatched.
They've hatched while they're in there.
Yeah.
They won't know where home is.
No, not yet.
And you saying the drone sperm is not affected?
Not affected at all.
Okay, because we were told it was.
There's a hive beetle.
Yep.
Is it dead?
No, it's walking around.
They're not dying yet.
Maybe we.
Kill its eggs.
Well, maybe it affects again.
But you still saw the end was capped.
Yes.
So and after now the water is out, there's a drying mode. I press this button, switch it on, and then the machine dries himself for a few minutes. You can collect the bees and throw them in front of the hives if you want.
Will they go by themselves?
Yeah.
They don't know where they came from, remember?
They're looking for the next hive and walking in.
Do these come out?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful. So you can give it a good clean.
Yeah. And here you can adjust to different frame sizes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There was a gentleman, he has worry hives and different sizes or topper hives.
Yep.
You can adjust it. So now it's finished, you can hear the tone.
Yeah.
Finished. Switch it off, that's it. And when I'm home I clean the rest.
Yeah.
So how do you get it around?
Show you in a second.
Yeah, just thinking that. Could we lift it and see where it feels like?
Of course.
Oh, it's got wheels on one end.
Yep.
Ah.